An 11-year-old at a school in Maine, decided he needed to speak out about something he found in the library, all right, in his school's library. He's a sixth grader, just like I have an 11-year-old who's a sixth grader. His name is Knox Zajac, and he went to his school board meeting to talk about a book that he found in his library. Now, the age advisor on this book is 14 years or older. He's 11, but of course it's there accessible to the middle schoolers, and there he was in sixth grade. I am going to warn our listening audience that it's graphic, what you're about to hear, and you should be shocked and somewhat appalled to hear an 11-year-old talking about this. But the biggest sin is that it was forced in front of his face by his school. That's what we're talking about here. Take a listen to Knox.
I was in the library, and this book was on a stand. I'd like to read you a page. My back over my hips as I asked if we should take our clothes off. And he's saying yes before I finish my sentence. He's pulling off my t-shirt, laughing when I can't undo his shirt buttons. He's undoing my belt. I'm reaching into his bedside drawer for a condom. We're kissing. Again, we're rolling over. Obviously, you can see where this is going. But this reminds me so much of the first time we had sex. We were both fucking terrified, and the whole thing was kind of terrible because we didn't know what we were doing. But it was good too, so good. Now, this book was at my middle school, and it was on a stand. When I rented it out to show my dad it, the librarian asked if I wanted more and if I wanted a graphic novel version.
God bless this sweet boy for having the guts to bring this to everyone's attention. That is absolutely disgusting. It's deeply immoral. It's wrong. And it's not just happening in his middle school, Karol.
Yeah, it's so shocking to hear the words. And I hope that this shocks people out of their just, compliance with this sort of thing. In Florida, Governor DeSantis has made it a sort of a priority to root this kind of material out of schools. And he's gotten so much pushback from the left saying like, oh, you're banning books. Well, no, you're not banning books. You're asking nicely for the pornography to not be available to your middle schooler. And, I want to say also that I think a lot of people are saying, oh, this kid, his parents probably put him up to it. But I have one of these kids who would stand up and read something like this at a meeting. In fact, my middle son, today is a read aloud day at his school. And he brought in, and again, I had zero to do with this, but what I saw on Mulberry Street by Dr. Seuss, which of course has been canceled and rewritten and whatever. And he's like, no, I love this book. I'm bringing it in. So there is a segment of kids who have recognized how insane things have gotten, and they're not standing for it anymore. And it's really happening organically and on their own.
Bethany, there's a story in the news today about how they're re-releasing Disney as Peter Pan, and they're bringing in the sensitivity experts to sensitize it. Apparently we stepped on the toes of some Native Americans in the first version. Like their language wasn't perfect. There was a Native American who had broken English, so that needs to be fixed. Right. And also the Lost Boys now have girls in them because you can't have any single sex group that doesn't include girl power. I'm sure you can have all girls. They wouldn't be infiltrating boys into the all girls groups, but you can't have Lost Boys. Now you have to have boys and girls, right? Whatever. Right. Who knows? So this is the left. The woke left needs to make sure no one's sensibilities or sensitivities get offended by the Native American in the old 1954 Peter Pan movie having some broken English. That would be horrible for the kids to see. But you can have the little boy, the 11-year-old, reading about effing and gay sex between two boys. No problem. Who else would like access to it?
Yeah. No, I mean, it perfectly encapsulates the modern American woke left, that we all need to be protected from, different stereotypes that were prevalent 70 years ago, but that we are all, even our 8-year-olds, are fully ready to experience a graphic novel in which there is a graphic sex scene between two of the children characters. That's how you can be enlightened. I had one of my kids, my oldest daughter, picked up a graphic novel at our local library. And over the course of talking to other moms about, what was going on in their school libraries, they both brought up a book and it sounded familiar. And I realized, oh, wait a second, that's the book my daughter just took out of the library. And thankfully I hadn't brought the library bag in from my trunk yet, but I went out my driveway and I looked in my trunk and there it was. And it was a lesbian sex scene between two girls at a sleepover. And they think that, it's okay to sexualize children if they make it LGBT in any way. And I'm sorry, it's not. It doesn't make me a bigot. I am not interested in introducing to my children sexualized content, gay or straight. It's just not appropriate. But they think that it's a get out of jail free card to make it LGBT.
That's so true. I never actually put my finger on that distinction. That's their escape hatch. You're exactly right. If you make them same sex, you can get as graphic and pornographic as you want. No problem, because you're whatever, pro LGBT, blah, blah, blah. The dad of little Knox, Zajac, his dad got up there too. And he's rip-roaring mad in front of this Maine school board and told another story about his other kid who's in the high school. And again, this is graphic. The language is R-rated. As you know, that deeply offends me. But you'll hear him tell it straight to this board as well. Take a listen.
So that's my son, 11 years old, and went to his library and found that by the entry door of our library, this is the smut that he is finding. And then as far as genderqueer, I've got a son in the high school as well. And this is bullshit. We know it, all right? We do not need to be having literature that's showing boys how to suck dick, all right? I'm very, very frustrated about it, okay? And you may think that schools know the best for our children. You know who know the best for our children? The parents.
God love that man in his red and black lumberjack shirt, saying it straight, just not mincing words. We need millions more just like him. I know you guys were calling attention to this. Just came out. Was it the Manhattan Institute? Was it City Journal that just published the data on Manhattan Institute, and that just published the data on the number of 18 to 20-year-olds in America who can name one of the key CRT concepts, right? And it's like 93%. 93% have been exposed to critical race theory, which is the sister to all this radical trans ideology stuff, radical gender stuff. Like, this is the new woke left, and it's working for them. They're getting to 93% of our kids.
Yep, and the other 7% are homeschooled. So you're welcome, everyone. Holding up the rear here.
So to speak.
They absolutely have infiltrated our schools and all of our institutions with this nonsense, and they're jamming it down our throats because it's not popular. It's not popular at all. 7% of Americans consider themselves very liberal, and I bet it's even a smaller number that really considers themselves woke. So they're doing it without our consent, and they're doing it without being the majority opinion, but people are not fighting back. And I think what this dad and his son have shown is you have to do it. You have to get up at those school board meetings. You have to show people what's going on in your library. You have to show them that this is really not being exaggerated. This is a really bad thing that is being aimed at children.
So you've heard me talk about Bonner Private Wine Partnership, right? They have these incredibly rare Malbecs that you've got to try. If you enjoy a glass of wine, try these wines from the extreme altitudes of Argentina. The flavor's unlike any other. Blackberry, leather, smoke, little dark cherry in there. And these wines are nearly impossible to get on your own. The producers deep in the Andes Mountains make limited quantities. The best part, they have cut out the middleman, so you are not going to deal with a big markup. Today, we have a great offer for you. If you visit BonnerPrivateWines.com/MKS, you will not only get the wine for over 50% off plus free shipping, you'll also get a bonus bottle of small batch limited production wine from their exclusive wine cellar. That's 4 bottles for the price of 3. It's a deal that's hard to turn down if you're a wine lover like I am. Just visit Bonner, BONNER, privatewines.com/MKS to claim your bonus bottle and become a part of America's most unique wine club. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.